everybody. Welcome to another Professional Genealogist live stream, or Professional Genealogist Reacts live stream. I forgot to say the whole channel. Welcome. Today I'm getting started late as usual. But hey, whatever, it is what it is. Glad to have everybody here. I was trying out not having such a long pre-start stream thing, just 5 minutes. So let me know if that was much better. I tried to have it 10 minutes originally because, give everyone time to come in and all of that. But welcome, everybody. If you haven't said hello, definitely say hello. Let us know where you're coming from. I didn't post that in the chat today. I kind of gave a look through some of the questions ahead of time. I'm going to do a few of them that are a little bit older, I think, but are kind of in depth. So I haven't looked at them too in depth myself yet, but we'll have to see. So first off, just say hello to the few of you in chat right now. Hello, Tasha from Minnesota. Hello, Sharon coming from New York. Hello, Stig from Oslo, one of our Scandinavians representing. Hello, Joe Kenna. Welcome, welcome. And Ironicles, hello, hello. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, we've got a really light amount on the stream. I wonder if that really is because of the starting so quickly, not given the 10-15 minutes. A bunch of people coming in. Sean from Ireland, Alexandra coming in from Koblenz, Germany. Welcome, welcome. And Joe Kenna is coming in from Greater London. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, let's go ahead and get started. There we go. Let's do the typical kind of get that as nice as possible. Oh yeah, I need to do that. Have to set something. Okay. So yeah, so taking a look through, I think I'd clicked on some of these on the last stream and was like, yeah, I'm not going to answer those right now. Oh, I think many are watching the live from Diane Southard and Leah Larkin. Oh, I didn't realize. What are they doing? I guess she's got something going on her channel. She's one of those people that I haven't really actually met that much, Diane Southard. Your DNA guide. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay, well, not surprising there. Hello, Mom Pafelski from Idaho. Okay, yeah, wow, yeah, she's got 722 people watching right now. And they've been going for how long have they been going? Oh, they've been going for about a half hour. I'm looking at the chat. Oh, yeah, I definitely recognize some names in their chat. Definitely recognize some names in the chat. They're talking about that new website, Banyan. I saw the talk from Leia at Roots Tech about it. Yeah. I actually haven't watched a lot of Diane's channel. She's got huge numbers for live streams, or at least this stream. She's had a lot of really good people on, though. Johnny Pearl was on it. Blaine Bettinger, obviously Leah Larkin's big in the community. Krista Cowan, Scott Fisher's coming up. Scott Fisher's a really cool guy. He's got that podcast. Interesting, yeah. All right. Well, enough comparing myself to her channel. Let's get into my actual content. So we're going to be starting out with. Now, I took a quick look at this one and I realized we had actually answered this at one point. Basically, it's just a, hey, here's my results and why are they like this? And I'm not going to get too into it because it's kind of expansive, but I realized with this person, necessary parking, I think we had answered a few of their questions. Yeah, something like that. Okay. So so I figured it's not that bad, because I think we basically have technically done this one. I'll just leave that there. I'll have to look through it. Maybe I haven't exactly. But the main one I was looking at is this one, the My DNA Relatives. So, oh, that's one of Callum's. Okay, yeah, that's why I recognize the name. Okay, please answer because I'm here. All right, well, let's take a look. Let's see. Below are DNA results from a few years ago with MyHeritage, and they are very surprising and interesting to me. And this was posted over a year ago. All right, background. Both my father's parents are from Scotland, with his father being from the Shetland Isles and his mother being from Aberdeenshire. Sorry, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. My maternal grandfather is from Singapore. My maternal grandmother is from Sussex in England, UK. So we're basically looking at a lot of UK, Scotland, and then some Asian. And I mean, Singapore, I mean, I think isn't Singapore kind of a big hodgepodge? So we'll be expecting kind of a hodgepodge of that stuff, I'd imagine. All right. My paternal grandmother and both of my maternal grandparents have also done DNA tests with MyHeritage. My paternal grandmother came out in being 100% Scottish, Irish, and Welsh, and even had a high confidence rate of her being from Aberdeenshire. Gosh, I feel like I'm saying that wrong, which is correct. I feel like I'm saying that wrong, which is correct. Okay, sorry. All right. My maternal grandfather came out in being 83.5% Chinese and Vietnamese, 14.9% Filipino, Indonesian, and Malay, and for some bizarre reason, 1.6% Scottish, Irish, and Welsh. This must be an error in the system because there's just absolutely no way that he has Scottish, Irish, or Welsh DNA in him. I mean, not necessarily no way. My maternal grandmother came in being 59% North and West European and 41% English. I'm very confused how I can be 40% English and only 16.5% Scott when all blah, 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 when all my English side is from my maternal grandmother and she's only 1% more English than I am. And my paternal grandmother is 100% Scottish, Irish, and Welsh. I mean, this is just getting into the nitty gritty stuff of wishing that admixtures were way better than they truly are. I mean, when it comes to the Northwestern European admixture, this is just how it is. And unfortunately, when you look at the comparison of grandparents to their children, to their grandchildren, or, all of that stuff, then, you're dealing with basically a lot of confusion because the oldest generation is going to give you the best idea and sense of that line specifically. But because of the difficulties of reading the differences and all of these other issues with things, the admixtures just come out that way. And also it's just the way they read stuff. I don't know. I feel like this comparison of, English versus their Scottish, Irish, and Welsh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you've got that part. Okay. And Rob Goedenavond, thank you for coming in. All right. There's no way that my paternal grandfather had a lot of English DNA, who was Shetland, and how come I have trace of the 59% North and West European DNA from my maternal grandmother and me. There's also no way that my paternal grandfather had all these ethnicities in him that are showing up in my DNA, e.g., Iberian, East European. Yeah, none of these ethnicities show up in 3/4 of my grandparents. Yeah. The 6.3% Finnish I could understand though from being from my paternal grandfather, but not much else. I plan to take the test again and also with another company, compare the results. Unfortunately, I can't get my paternal grandfather tested since he passed away in 2011. And then these were basically the results. So, yeah, let's see. I've tested on Ancestry and admixture results are a lot better. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of the one of the things I was going to point out too is, this is testing on my heritage, and unfortunately, their current admixture, which I know we're all waiting for that new admixture to come out soon because they've announced it. But the current admixture there is one of the most hated on from people that know what their true ancestry is based on the paper trail and proving it with DNA matches and stuff, the true use of DNA testing. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, basically it's just I think it's just the my heritage stuff really. So if you're ancestry and all of that, let's see. Cuz I know yeah, here we go. My ancestry DNA results. Did any of your grandparents do a test on ancestry since? So I mean 40% Scotland, 20% England, northwestern Europe, then central and eastern China, Norway, southern China, northern China, Sweden, Denmark. So, I mean, the interesting thing, I think, really, of anything, is going to be your grandfather from Singapore. It was your grandfather, right? Yeah, maternal grandfather from Singapore. So, I've since tested my parents and sister on my heritage and paternal grandmother and maternal grandfather on Ancestry. Okay, so the maternal grandfather who's from Singapore. Now, the big question I have is how much do you know about his actual ancestry in terms of paper trail and building it out? Like, do you know his grandparents and his great grandparents? And, how far can you get back on some of the lines? And yeah. I mean, I don't think we're going to dive too deep into this. Aha. Okay, nice. So this is what he's getting. So I see you say yes. I'm guessing he's saying yes to the question I just asked. Central Eastern China, 58%, Southern China, 34%, Northern Philippines, 4%, Dai, 2%, Vietnam, 2%. Okay, so yeah, because I have some friends who were from Singapore. And from what I remember them talking about with Singapore is very much a melting pot of Asia and is kind of more of a recent country or something. I'm really bad with the history in Asia. I think I say this all the time. I know when I did the geography one, I was like, that was probably my worst was Asia. Rob, I never really looked at the admixture. I'm really just waiting for close matches that I then can try to connect. Yeah, that's really what it's all about. Furthest I can trace on my grandfather's side is to his great grandfather on his maternal side. Okay, so that's giving me the hint that you can only identify that one great grandfather and none of the other great grandparents. So it's like a big mystery. Which is then, that's where I guess it kind of gets interesting of, breaking this down and such. It's such general, central and eastern China, 58%. Although, does it give you any more of a breakdown? I mean, that's pretty interesting. Putting the northern Philippines on one side of the family and Dai on the other. Nick Hudenavond, coming from Groningen. Good to have you. All of hello Alamal. All my all what is it? Iedereen Iedereen van Netherlands. I don't know. E clear. Eclair. Okay. Alexander Thoreau, I do the same. Only the matches at DNA tools are important to me. I wish more people focus on matches like us. You know, it's funny how often I'll go to look at an admixture because I'm trying to just see, you know, I found something weird in the paper trail that I want to see. Is it showing up in the results in any way? And then I'll go and look and it'll be like, you know, the last update will be like a year old. And it's like, there's a new update since you last look. And it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, it's been a long time, hasn't it? I haven't managed to trace back from his father's side because he came from China as an orphan. Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be something where if you haven't yet, I would suggest looking into why DNA testing because that's going to be really interesting with the results. You have tested your grandfather on all the major DNA websites. 23andMe results, I think, are the most accurate. Yeah. So eat. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I haven't posted them yet. All right. So I think we gave that a pretty good little dive into. I don't know if I gave you anything use in that. Honestly, if you have any specific questions based on this beyond what you had in here, because I mean, basically what you had in here was kind of what you said of, yeah, I kind of understand that now. Yeah, 0 DNA matches. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh yeah, I think was this one of your previous questions about why DNA? I think we talked about that maybe. Because I know we've answered you've probably had a lot of questions answered by me at this point, more than most. Maybe not. Oh yeah, you asked about the Asian results. So um Sarah Eva, is it common for Dutch to show? You know, I honestly don't know if any of the sites, any of the tests have a Dutch option. Maybe Ancestry does. Ancestry DNA population reference populations. Wait, no. I think this is what we want. So I mean, what you can do is you can literally just go to every single site and just pull up, you know, what do they have? Yeah. So Europe, um, now are these regions or these communities? Okay, these are regions. Okay. No, that's okay. That's additional European communities. Sorry, I scrolled down too far. Let's see. I was like just getting to it. Southern Italy. Yeah, see, I don't think they really have it because it's all this stuff up here, which actually I'm realizing this is all probably really, really small for you. So I mean, more than likely, what it's going to be showing up as is it's probably going to be showing up in either like just kind of general Northwestern European readings, or it's going to be lumping in probably with like French and German or something like that. Obviously, if you're, you know, if you're from like Friesland or, you know, northern Netherlands, maybe you're gonna get some more like Scandinavian readings or something. Um, but I didn't know they had all of these regions, unless Interesting. All right. East of Greater London, Isle of Man, Northern Wales, the Midlands, Finland. Yeah, see, this is where I think it'll be getting lumped into, central and northern Germany. Do they have a north? Yeah, or no, that's coastal northwest Germany. So kind of, not really. I mean, Schleswig-Holstein, that's been Denmark over the years, gone back and forth. Oh yeah, that's right. They do have the Germans in Ukraine and European Russia. Those Volga Germans in Upper Volga. Well, I guess there were a lot of Germans outside of the Volga River too, but all right, now we're in. That's nowhere near. All right. Let me check chat. It's common for Dutch to show up. Yeah, that'd be my guess. French and German. Hey, Karma, welcome. Late, but better than never. I think Ancestry includes Dutch and Germanic Europe. That's what I'm guessing too. Oh, Callum talking about your grandfather, 14 matches on Ancestry. Yeah. I'm trying to find a few bastard fathers left. A few of my great-great-grandmothers with a kid. That's why the matches are important. Oh, yeah. I've solved a few of those sorts of things. Yeah. Let's see. Sarah, I have a great-grandmother that is Dutch from Holland, Michigan. I followed the paper trail, and it seems like they are Dutch from the Netherlands that settled in Holland, Michigan for generations. Well, one thing I can tell you is the Netherlands have amazing records. So I don't know if you have started to try to access those records or not, where you are in your research journey. But if you have the town or region that they came from in the Netherlands in the time, especially I want to say 1500s or more recent, there's a high possibility you're going to have records on your family. And obviously with each century that you get closer, that's going to be a higher possibility, 16th, 17th, all of that. But if they were in Holland, Michigan for a long, long time, it might be interesting to find out when was that town founded and what's the story of the founding of the town, and was your family a part of that? Because that could be a big tell in their true story of why did they end up coming over, because you can always get those general sorts of, this is what was going on in the world. And so we can generally think this is what happened. But when you get the very specific story of, well, this caused them to decide to do this, and this is why they went here, and, all of that sort of stuff. Like for my family coming from the Alliance colony, which was part of a Jewish agricultural community movement, started in the 1800s and the 1880s, which I've done a video on. Definitely check it out. It's called Am Olam, Zionism's twin brother. Very interesting story. But basically, they were part of a movement that tried to create agricultural communities in the United States. And that, even though it was part of the larger Russian Jewish immigration of that time in the 1880s and onward, after the assassination of the Tsar, there was still like a very specific story that was very different from the typical narrative of that time. So just a good reason why. All four sets of great grandparents, husbands came from what is now Poland. I know 2 cities, but the other 2, nothing. Any clues how to figure that out? Some of my best tricks, and it depends on how much you know of the families, but some of my best tricks that I use for that are using the draft records. So, all 4 sets of great grandparents came from what is now Poland. I know 2 cities, but the other 2, nothing. So the 2 that nothing, try to identify all of their siblings, and then try to, I guess it depends on their age too. Try to identify all their siblings and then look for the records that might have the town of origin for the family. So draft records are a big one. So any of the males in the family who are of that age, passport applications, immigration records, manifest records, and depending on when they immigrated as well, you might also want to look into USCIS records. So USCIS being United States. Sorry, I'm pulling it up as I'm talking about it. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. And this is just like what it sounds like. It's the organization that handles citizenship and immigration. And basically what you can do is look and see, do your family, do any of your the two great grandparents where you're trying to find the town, or any of their siblings, would they qualify for this? And it could also be their parents, or maybe their siblings didn't come over, but their siblings had children that came over, or things like that. So it's kind of using the fan record, the friends, associates, and neighbors. Although a lot of people also say that as family, associates, and neighbors to mean, family is in like tangential family or siblings and things like that. You're looking at the great grandparents, but you kind of, when you do that, sometimes you kind of forget, well, oh yeah, they have all these siblings that were also part of that journey. And if I learn about their story, that could give me the answer. And so doing that, but these records, which you can see, it's kind of a specific time period. Most of it starts in 1906 and ends in the 20s or 40s. All right, let's see. So yeah, so you can see here 1906 to 1956 for the C files. And then you can see what the C files are, the citizenship files. You also have the A files, the alien register forms, which are from 1940 to 1944, so very specific time period. But the visa files, they range a bit more. So you can kind of see the variation. The A file, for some reason, I always confuse those two. All right, doesn't matter. But yeah, so this is a great way. The only thing is, they're kind of expensive. They tried to raise the money. Last I remember, it was like $600 or $400 or something like that. Oh, this thing's gonna be. Oh, here we go. Yeah, like look at this. Current fees for like this stuff. It's ridiculous stuff. But I think it's all. Yeah. I know the USCIS is something that has been on the radar of Reclaim the Records. I can't remember. Okay, yeah. I don't know. Either way, just expect to pay some money. Expect to pay some money with USCIS records. All right, let's. Callum, basically, my question is: have I maximized my efforts in the DNA side of things for my grandfather? What else can I do? Do I just have to be a sitting duck for some more close matches? Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. You just have to kind of be a sitting duck. You can try to find some of the more rare databases, that I guess the smaller databases and stuff. So like Mito Y, is that it? Mito Y DNA. Yeah, Mito Y DNA, like uploading the Y DNA, and if he's done mitochondrial DNA, putting that information in Mito Y DNA. Connecting to genie.com, uploading the Y-DNA to Y-full, and just looking for every possible database to put it in, because it might just happen that there's a close match there for some reason. I know we talked about the Chinese records at some, not records, the Chinese tests as an answer for you. So, I don't know if you've done those, if they have the matches, because I think it was Weegene that has matches, but you have to go through the Chinese part of the site. You can't use the English side of the site. So it's like kind of weird. And yeah. So yeah, the unfortunate thing is, more than the the biggest part of the answer is yes, you are correct. You just kind of have to be a sitting duck, but technically you can kind of look for, every little possible thing that you can try. But it's at this point you have done quite exhaustive efforts in this. So yeah. And then Rob says, Dutch, I've not seen, just in communities. Why did I say that weird? Just in communities. Just in communities. But since the Dutch, like myself, are a mix of German and Scandinavian, it probably won't show. Yeah. I was supposed to have a French maiden last name. Long story, but my DNA ended up showing 0 French, but lots of German and some Netherlands, etc. I'm guessing things are lumped together. Yeah. Oh, it looks like Rob's gonna help Sarah out. Cool. All right. I see our numbers are going up. Is it's Diane's thing still going on? If anyone's coming over from that, I'd be kind of interested to hear how that went. Yeah, and okay, it seems like it ended probably right after not too long after I started streaming. Yeah, okay. So yeah, because I saw the I saw the Banyan live talk that Leia did at Roots Tech, and I was super hopeful for the website, and it certainly has some possible, or not possible, it certainly has some usefulness to it, but I don't know if it was as ground shaking, or I don't know if it was as useful as a lot of some of the other stuff, or at least I don't know if it's pushing things as much. Basically, it seemed kind of like a really advanced version of What Are the Odds, but an advanced version that kind of included where you could put in pedigree collapse and take pedigree collapse and double relationships, but it didn't do anything for endogamy. So if you come from a family or you're researching one where they do have pedigree collapse or double relationships, Banyan seems to be a great place to do it. But if you don't have that, it seemed like it could be useful if you prefer that format, but I still have yet to use it. So this is also just my opinion based on, having seen it. But, Leia was, she was one of the people that helped develop, or was the main developer for the What Are the Odds tool. So it certainly makes sense that this is very similar to that. Just kind of more advanced. Ironically, thank you. Don't forget to pound that like button. Donkeyville. Donkeyville. Let's see. What is Rob? Sorry, I can't get tag. I found Lubertje Brummel, born June 9th, 1858, in Doornspijk, Netherlands. And I also wrote Baron F. Kamerad. I think he was born in the US. Okay. Let's take a quick look. Let's take a quick look. Lubertje Brummel, 1858. Here we go. Oh, here. Let's do that. Oh, wait. Seriously? Seriously? I can't believe it did that just because I wanted to just have it in English. So we're going to do it this way then. So, registration. Het kind. Wait, is it het or de? Het kind of de kind. Let me know, Rob. That's the hardest thing is remembering what's het and what's de. De kinderen. Luberce Brummel. Vader Everett Brummel. Moiter Jana Kohl. So there we go. And let's see. I wonder if we have her. Here we have the parents' marriage. One of the nice things of Vivas V, it just gives you everything. And we should be able to find the actual image of it, I would hope. One of the really great things about Dutch records is they're just so readily available. Oh, this must be you on Genie that I just found. Het Kinden de Kindera. Yeah, well, yeah, the Kindera I know. I know it's de for all of the plural, I believe. Coming to focus. Coming to focus. Okay, so I need to go and find what's the number? 45. Why not just have it there? Wait, no, is it not? All right, we're going to just have to find it. The 11th of June. The Jongen het meisje. Ja. Ik ben een man. Ik ken Jongen en meisje. Okay. Let's focus on this. July. Looking at the 11th of June. The 11th of June. Boop, ba-doo, ba-doo. Here we go. Is this it? Yeah, that's it. There we go. All right. So there's Lou Berch's birth record. And there's the signature of her parents or Evert. I don't think Yana. I don't know if Yana signed. So Donkey's there. I didn't know where to look. This is so cool. Yeah. Yeah. Vivas V. Super easy. I mean, look at this. I mean, we've got this record here. Then we just go to the 1857 parents record. So here now we have the marriage, Everett to Yana, and now we have their parents. I wonder who she was named after. Van de Verhofst, and then Vader van de Brood, Jacob Kool, Hendrika Roerneck, Moider van de Brood. You don't know. Geen beroep. Yeah, the number 45. Yeah, I was hoping that was going to be image 45. I should have I as soon as it was like, oh, there's not over 45 images, I guess I'll give this up. But yeah, you'll be able to build a whole tree now too, because geboorte kind, birth of a child. So child's birth. So these are all different births. So here's Lubertia, then a sibling and a sibling. Huwelijks Ouders Broergram. So the marriage of the bride, or not the bride, the marriage of the groom's parents, and then this is the marriage of the bride's parents, Huwelijk Ouders Brood. And then Informatie over gelinkte akten, which kind of just gives you a bit more information on the links and such. So yeah, so you got lots and lots of stuff that you can add. Because I also found I was like looking it up on Genie, and I guess I found it's I need to do this. I didn't. I can't show anything private on here, so. Yeah, so let's go ahead and add that in for you, actually. Now, when it comes to Genie and Dutch families, there's a big presence of Dutchies on here, people from the Netherlands. And in the Netherlands, they don't use the same naming patterns in the sense that we do in the US and the UK, in the sense that, you know, a woman gets married, then she takes her husband's name. A lot of times it's like, you know, she's not going to be known as Jana Brummel. She'll be known as Jana Coel. Like that, like everything that you'll find will be Jana Coel. You won't find Brummel unless they moved to the UK or the US or something like that. So there's like a big Joel. There's basically a big contingency of people who are like, you know, you need to do it as proper as you can. And basically that means not having the married name. I'm going to include the married name because I'm not 100% sure what the whole deal is with it. But let's see. Wow, thank you so much. I'm making note of everything. And yes, I'm on Genie. Yeah, this is This is the tree that I found because it says Sarah is the manager, so I'm assuming that's you. So okay, so now we're gonna put in their parents. So Hendrik Brummel, father, Hendrik Brummel, and then Luberce van de Verhorst or Verhorst. And for the Tussenvogel, I am keeping it undercase. Verhorst. So this is the is it Tussenvogel? The middle name? The in between? So okay, so we're gonna make this. And then for the other parents, we have Jacob. So what I'm really hoping for here is that it's gonna pull up a hint on Genie that's gonna be like, someone's already got this. Okay, where this one? Hendrika Rohrink. Hendrika. All right. Aha. So somebody has Jana in here already. Yes, merge these profiles. Merge nearby stuff. Yeah. Although they seem to have the names the opposite of what I do. Oh, wait, no. Oh, gosh. Oh, I accidentally hit the back button of my mouse. Whoopsie-daisies. Okay, so yeah, it should be Yana Coles. Okay, yes, merge this. Merge. Resolve. Yes, merge. Cooling. Huh. So this must be a cousin of yours, Sarah. Whoops. Okay. So here's what we had for you, and here we're adding all of this stuff that it looks like your cousin built. So there you go. So now you have a whole other family added in here. Let's see. We've got for Everett. Oh, how did I I spelled it like an idiot. Hubert Jacobs. I hate when people do the patronymic thing. Okay. Wow, there is a lot of wackiness going on here. Why is it looking like that? Did Hendrik have more than one wife? All right, let's see. Okay, maybe this will make things a little bit more. Yeah, well, I mean, now you've got a whole new family all added in. So it looks like Hendrik over here had 2 wives. So she dies 1823 at the age of 31. And then he remarries Lubertia. So, yeah. Very interesting. So now this is... Let's look at it from this angle. So yeah, Sarah, hopefully we've added a whole lot to your family tree. So when you go into Genie next, it's going to look really different. Now we didn't quite get this side yet, but basically you literally just saw me do what I just did. Now remember, look here. HUW, remember, HUW stands for Huwelijk, which is basically marriage, wedding. I don't know exactly what it stands for. One of my Netherlanders in the chat can maybe say something, but you go and now you've got Jacob and Hendrika's parents. So you just add them in. Now, granted, I have the pro, so that's what allowed me to look at, the thing and get it all in. But yeah, so here we've got your family, right? Got all of your family. Then here, look at these cousins. I don't know. Do they look like your family? Do they any similarities there? But they lived, let's see. She's not your family. Howard H. Brummel. They lived in Michigan. So you'll have a lot to explore. You have all of these other family members. So, yeah. All right. Well, I think I need to get back to the Reddit questions. I know Sarah's going to be really sad about that because I just did a whole lot of finding on there. So, I mean, hopefully that, that's Dutch genealogy for you. Just boom right there. So, speaking of Dutch genealogy, actually, one of my upcoming guests is a Dutch YouTuber. It's History with Kaylee. So Kaylee Durink, Inc. Sorry, got to really emphasize it. It's funny for me being someone who spoke Hebrew or didn't really speak Hebrew, but read Hebrew phonetically growing up. That h sound is not too difficult for me. So, Amenta and, things like that aren't too difficult. And I remember when she did the 10 questions with Mr. Beat, he was asking if he said her name right. And she was like, kind of, because he said During, which is the, but it's, with the G in Dutch, it's h. during. So she's going to be coming up. She's got a lot of Dutch ancestry. Basically what I did for Sarah is kind of what I've done for Kaylee already. So, she's got a massive family tree that didn't take me long to connect into, that many others have already built out greatly. Yeah. I have not been keeping up with chat that great. I see Maven's talking all sorts of stuff about apps and UI and yeah. So, all right. Let's hopefully all that aside stuff was useful. How long have I been going? Almost an hour. All right. Yeah. And I've only answered one. Well, no, I've answered a lot of questions. I've only answered one question from Reddit. So one of the questions I was thinking about answering was this one, but you can see it's kind of advanced. So this is from Gina, who has been very active in the community. She's very active on Reddit and has helped a lot of people on Reddit. So I don't think I've seen her in here today, but yeah. So maybe I'll just be quick about it. I don't know. I was thinking I'd show. Oh, Gina is here. She is here. Okay, wonderful. So let's dive a bit into this. So okay. So you've already answered to one of my questions, for which I thank you. I'm still in the same conundrum, regardless of the tools I've used, Watto leads, making trees, etc. I've placed my 3 questions in a table. I would appreciate any input. Okay, person A, older than me, younger than my mom. Maternal side, confirmed, 410 centimorgans across 24 segments. She's my mom's first cousin, full first cousin, as far as I can tell, longest segment, 41 centimorgans. Does not appear in B list. Is there a possibility that A is half cousin to my mom with this amount of shared DNA? All right, well, let's answer that right off the bat. Let's pull up DNA Painter. But Gina, while I'm pulling that up, can you remind me what population group your family is coming from? Or, I mean, I guess more specifically, is your family coming from a known endogamous population group? Because for some reason, I feel like one of the questions you had was talking about that. Oh, there we go. Improved pedigree collapse. Already in there. All right. So let's see. 410. Let's see. Did you say Sig CM? No, you didn't. But we'll take a look at Sig CM. So half sibling is not even really in the ballpark here. Yeah, that's not really in the ballpark. And then let's see. 410 across 24. Across 24. Was this on 23andMe? I don't think it's was it on 23andMe? Latin American, but my mom's DNA is part Puerto Rican with pedigree collapse. This Puerto Rican is an unknown connection. Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, it's strong. First cousin once removed. She's my mom's first cousin, full first cousin as far as I can tell. Okay. My mom was born in 1955, her mom in 1931, maternal grandfather in 1881. So do you know how this person actually connects to you, or you're still trying to figure it out? Because you say full first cousin as far as I can tell. Does that mean that like you've found the paper trail showing their first cousins? Ironically, thank you. Just a friendly reminder, pound that like button. It'd be awesome to get near 100%. You're annoying like button cheerleader. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I know A is known. She grew up with my mom. Okay, so definitely a first cousin. Granted, it is kind of on the lower side of things, but it's certainly possible. Maternal. So, maybe there is something going on where maybe she's not necessarily the first cousin and it's a first cousin once removed or something. But I don't know. It certainly could be first cousin. So, all right, let's continue. Person B, older than me, probably, yeah, around my mom's age. Maternal side, according to Ancestry, 413 centimorgans across 20 segments. Relationship to my mom, unknown. Longest segment, 47 centimorgans. B and C are related, but A is not related to B. But A is related to everybody else. Okay, so B and C are related. B's father was born in 1918. B's paternal grandfather was born in 1892. And then person C, younger than me, maternal side, according to 23andMe, 392 centimorgans across 14 segments. Relationship to my mom, unknown. Not related through my dad, according to 23andMe. He tested. Longest segment, 84 centimorgans in the X chromosome and 69 centimorgans in the second largest. B and C are related. If C is my second cousin, we share a first great grandparent, but I don't know both of mine and none are related to his. If C is my half first cousin, we share one grandparent. Haven't been able to confirm a NPE for my mom's father. She will not test. C's grandfather was in the military, but no proof of him or his siblings traveling to Panama. C's grandpa was born in 1929. C's grandpa and B's father are siblings. Now, with 84 centimorgans on the X chromosome, my question is, did you check the path of X chromosome relations? Basically, if it's 84 centimorgans on the X chromosome, then he's not going to be related to you through his father. He's going to be related to you through his mother. So it has to be the maternal grandfather, or basically one of his maternal grandparents. So yes, that is what it looks like. Okay, yeah. So at the very least, you know which side of his family it's on, his maternal side and your maternal side. Now, person D should be my mom's paternal half sibling. Does not appear on my DNA list over my heritage. What are the odds of not sharing DNA with a half aunt? Really, really, really low. The odds are, yeah, it's very doubtful. I mean, a half aunt, you're looking at, it's rare to be under 1,200 centimorgans, let alone, oh wait, that's on, yeah, either way. I mean, 5, yeah. So it's with the half sibling, that's definitely, should be my mom's paternal half sibling. Obviously, they have different fathers. So with that being the case, the unfortunate thing to ask is, have you confirmed that your father is your father? Because if or should be my mom's paternal house. So I guess your mom's father her actual father. Because if the supposed half sibling's not matching you, then that means that there's an NPE in the family, and it's either that your mom's father's not truly, or the half sibling's father isn't. Oh yeah, yes, my father is my father DNA confirmed, but sorry, I had worded that incorrectly, but yeah. Now as for my maternal grandpa, I don't know because my mom does not want to test. Yeah, okay. So that's really the big question here of, could you be looking at your grandfather being somebody that you don't know, and that the supposed half sibling, her father, is the what, so I mean, I guess if he's kind of an unknown, what you'd usually want to do is try to find relatives of his, if you knew siblings or something like that and their descendants, but I'm guessing you don't, to see, do they match up, and then we know he is truly whatever. But oh gosh, yeah, I didn't even get here. Could it be that either my mom's father is her father, but not my half aunt, or my mother's father's MPE? Yeah. No one in B or C know about one of their relatives traveling to Panama. So yeah. Okay. Update. Person sees mom tested on 23andMe. We share 870 centimorgans over 27 segments. I'm guessing she's about my mom's age, and it says she's my first cousin, which I don't think it is right due to my grandparents' age. DNA Painter Watto says she could be half on. Let's see. Yeah, it could be. Now, but the thing here, what you want to do here with your Watto analysis, what I would suggest is run a auto hypothesis. So I don't know if you're using Watto 2.0 or which one, but if you're using Watto 1.0, try transferring it over to Watto 2.0 and auto run the hypotheses, because what you want to do is you don't want to push confirmation bias by only putting in two hypotheses. You want to try to have as many hypotheses as you can that make sense. So with just these two, I mean, it's possible that because you have so many DNA testers in the family that it really is only these two. So maybe I'm presuming a little bit. But that would be my suggestion. Is it feels like there's not enough hypotheses in here of where could this be. But granted, with that 800, looking at this with the 870 centimorgans like that, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. So, and then C is part of this family. So we've got C and then we've got B. Okay, let's pull this up in a different tab. Okay, so we've got A, B, C, and D. A is matching C and D. Where is it? Is A in here? B, C, and C's mom. Okay. A does not match any of them. Okay, A does not match any of them. So that's a whole different ballpark. But then over here, B and C are related, and then C's mom. And so, yeah, so, and then you have all of these other matches, it seems, in this family. I mean, that's a lot of matches to have. So, I mean, based on what you have, I mean, that definitely seems to be the most likely. And then, let's see. With SegCM, it gives me a weird thing. It shows a relationship. But then the question is, with this, person sees 23andMe. So when you did it, did you switch to the 23andMe option? 870 over 27. So, female. So maternal, half aunt, uncle, niece, or nephew. What do they mean maternal? Oh, okay. I think, because I was thinking like with aunts or whatever, but if it's a half, yeah, it's your, the mother's daughter, father's daughter. So, and I think that's where you are. You're paternal, maternal, or paternal. Because it's your mother's father and her father, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, it certainly seems that whoever sees mom parent is, the most likely scenario is that she, yeah, seems like C's mom is going to be your half aunt. So that certainly makes sense. So B and C are from an endogamy population. Yeah. Now with endogamy, it certainly does make a difference with this kind of stuff. I'm just clicking through everything. It certainly does make a difference when you're dealing with endogamy with this kind of stuff. Obviously, if it's pedigree collapse, that's a bit more. Then that's where that new Banyan site, Banyan, I can never remember what it's supposed to be called. I know it's the trees or whatever, but if you can use that to kind of get an idea. But in my experience, when you're dealing with closer relationships, especially with endogamy, like in Puerto Rican style endogamy, which is somewhat similar to Jewish endogamy, when you're dealing with like really close relationships, and by that I mean probably third or second degree relationships are closer. So what does that mean? A first degree relationship is going to be where it's one step away from you. So that's going to be parents, siblings, children. Then you have 2 degrees. So that's 2 steps away from you. So that's going to be grandparents, aunts, uncles, half siblings, nieces, nephews, and grandchildren. And then 3 degrees, that's, I think sometimes third degree gets lumped. It gets defined a little differently depending on where you're at, but that's when you're looking at like first cousins and half aunts and uncles and great aunts and uncles and great grandparents and stuff like that. So it's basically 2 steps away from you, or 3 steps away from you. So when you're looking at within about a third degree relationship, so it usually falls fairly typically in line with what you'll see in something like this in the Shared Sense Morgan project. So in my experience, it's not until you really start to get out further than that you start to really see the effects of endogamy making a big difference. So, for like a first cousin, yeah, if you're coming from an endogamous population, you're probably going to constantly see it more on the higher end of the range. If you're from an endogamous population and you're getting, 600, 700 centimorgans with someone, then yeah, you might not really be thinking first cousin as much as you might be thinking something a bit further out. But with a first cousin from an endogamous population, you're probably still going to fall within the line of the typical histogram for, these results. But then once you start to get out to like second cousin, that's where you start to get into like, okay, well, you might start to actually have some really high results. My mom has a second cousin who matches her at 700 centimorgans. And we know for a fact, second cousin, but coming from a Jewish ancestry, they just share a lot more DNA. And it could be indicative that, maybe they have another fairly close relationship. So maybe she's not, beyond the second cousin relationship. Maybe she's a third or fourth cousin of my mom on a whole different line. And so it just adds together sort of thing. That's really the difficulty with endogamy and pedigree collapse and all of that. So when you're dealing with these close relationships, like a half aunt or even a half first cousin, the half first cousin, yeah, maybe you're going to see it a bit more out of line, although I feel like this is pretty in line. But the half aunt, it'll fall very in line. But then when you look at the other relationships, like you see these ones that are a bit further out, instead of kind of being half every generation, you usually see it kind of, I feel like it's more like 3/5 every generation when you're dealing with endogamous. And really what that just is because they're sharing all these small little segments with you because of the endogamy. So everyone from that population group who's Puerto Rican, they have all of these little segments that they're probably going to share with lots of other Puerto Ricans because they all have this distant shared ancestry. So yeah. All right. I feel like I'm kind of rambling at this point. So I think that answered the question. I don't know if you have kind of a follow-up, Gina, let me know. I'm not going to post a little this. Well, actually I should, in case people were, I know you know when this was answered, but in case others want to know, this question was reviewed. Professional genealogist reacts live stream on April 9th, 2024. So let's give that a little upvote too. Give it a little upvote. Now, there was something I saw in Jewish DNA a little bit ago, and I kind of was, this question. Yeah, because somebody was asking about, are Sephardic Jews from different places similar in terms of ancestry? And some of the answers people were giving were like, I know this, it's kind of right, but also kind of wrong. Like, it's like they're looking at it from a view of having not. Well, I don't know. So yeah. Actually, you know what? Yeah, all right, let's do this. Whatever. Are Sephardic Jews from different places similar in terms of ancestry? Depends on what you mean by Sephardic and what you mean by similar. Now, in terms of what you mean by Sephardic, I don't know why they would say that here, other than the fact that, a lot of people mix up Mizrahi communities with Sephardic communities. But I think that's just, I don't know. But yeah, and what you mean by similar, that's the thing that I'm curious about. From different places, similar in terms of ancestry. Now, the basic level, the answer is, are Sephardic Jews from different places, their shared ancestry is coming from Iberia. They were all they were part of the Jewish communities of Iberia, and then they got kicked out at some point. And in fact, on a Y-DNA level, the Avatenu Y-DNA project has been able to show that very conclusively on the Y-DNA level that let's pull this up, that they can distinctly tell Sephardic families from Ashkenazi families. So this is the project page for it. They have released very few articles about it or any papers yet. They're still doing a lot of studies, but one that is really interesting that I'm going to try to find is one that was written by a wonderful friend of the channel who's been on many times. And in fact, the person running this project, Adam Brown, he was in the reaction video where I had a bunch of my friends from IAJGS Conference react. But Michael Waz, who's been on this channel many a times, and he's actually been helping me with the Max Miller research. They did this article, which comes from that Y-DNA study, The Surprising Origins of the Coriel Family of Colonial New Jersey. And I'm just going to scroll down here. Not that one, this one right here. But I highly recommend checking this article out. I'm going to post it in chat. Highly recommend it. But basically what they found was this Coriel family in New Jersey didn't realize they had Jewish origins. They thought they had a different kind of origin. So it's this family. From Piscataway Township. But what they found was that they came from a Sephardic family, and then in testing all of these other Coriels from all over the world, they were able to decipher things quite well. So here we have Coriels in Curacao who were Jewish, and then this Coriel family in the USA who show up in the US in the 1700s, and they share a common ancestry that developed around the 1700 CE. So the 18th century about. Then you go a bit further, and there's the Coriels in Turkey and the Coriels in Suriname, who were also Jewish. So from the Eastern Sephardic Jewish community, and then Coriel in Suriname, which is part of the Western Sephardic Jewish community. And so these were distinctly established around 1450 CE, so right around the time of the Inquisition. So it certainly makes sense that, for one, all of them descend from this. So this this branch descends from this branch, but they all just, they're a separate side from the Curiels. So this is like a family tree. Then going back, they found this Lombroso family, who's a Jewish family in Italy. And then they found all, but basically they were able to distinctly see that this family was Jewish and came from the Sephardic Jewish ancestry. And then you can see how with where all of these families are, it's all within about the Sephardic Jewish or Mizrahi Jewish thing. Now, I'm not going to get too far into it, but I highly recommend reading this. But yeah, Michael Waz, wonderful friend of I was actually talking to him earlier today. I'll have to tell him I talked about him on stream. And then Adam Brown, who was on the reaction. So, yeah. So, okay. Back to this. All Western Jews are very similar to each other. Now, my big question here is, well, what do you mean by Western Jews? Because I think what they mean is they're basically lumping Sephardic and Ashkenazi together. And then there's a lot of other communities. But okay. Greek, Turkish, and Balkan Sephardim are a fairly cohesive group, both culturally and genetically. Moroccan and Algerian Jews are quite similar to that group, but have a variable amount of North African. These groups probably have the greatest amount of ancestry from Jews who fled Iberia. I don't know why they would say that. I don't know of any studies that have found conclusively anything like that, the greatest amount of ancestry from Jews who fled Iberia. Like, I don't know. I would say the Western Sephardic diaspora has quite amount, but all right, let's keep reading and then I'll kind of say the rest of my piece. Tunisian and Libyan Jews, while similar overall, are a distinct cluster. From what I've seen, small sample size, Egyptian and Syrian Jews are similar, but with lower North African, and some Mizrahi ancestry. Now, I'd love to see the studies that this person's talking about, which is like, do I even know who this person is? Like, I'm kind of wondering if I even know who they are. Because they're coming to a lot of conclusions that are like, okay, it's not considering a lot of the population flows and different things. But okay, let's continue. All right. Egyptian and Syrian Jews are similar, but with lower North African and some Mizrahi ancestry. I believe that these communities are mostly descended from non-Sephardic Jews who later adopted the Sephardic custom. I've never seen a Western Sephardic, Spanish, and Portuguese sample, so the group is a wild card as far as I know. Well, that's my specialty, and I do that all the time. Every Dutch Sephardic family tree I've seen has a ton of Ashkenazi ancestry. And that is a very uninformed statement in a way. It's true, but also not true. So part of the issue is so much. All right, so let's start from a few things. Number one, this person does not talk about in any way the typical Sephardic diaspora as it is known by historians. The way it's known is that there are 3 distinct waves of Sephardic diaspora, which they only talk about one wave, the Western Sephardic diaspora, but then kind of just clump up the 2 other waves. So the first wave is the Eastern Sephardic diaspora. And those were the Jews who left Iberia before 1492, sometimes as far back as the 1300s, and largely went to areas of the Ottoman Empire. So when they talk about this Greek, Turkish, and Balkan Sephardim, those are the areas of the Ottoman Empire. And so what they mean there is the Eastern Sephardic diaspora. So are a fairly cohesive group, both culturally and genetic. They all are. So I don't know. Okay, like part of why I have an issue with this comment is just because it's like right in a lot of ways, but also it's like jumping all these conclusions that they're not showing anything behind it, and it's just I don't know. Obviously I read this a few days ago and it made me go, I want to talk about this on stream. Anyway, so yeah, so they don't talk about that. So there's the Eastern Sephardic diaspora, which largely leaves before 1492. The next wave is the North African Sephardic diaspora, which leaves right around 1492, basically as the Reconquista is finalizing things in a sense, as the fall of Granada. And wonder what no, I won't pull it up. It doesn't matter. All right. So they largely go to North Africa. So a lot of Morocco and that sort of thing. But then at the same time, part of the Spanish Inquisition was they had 4 months to convert, leave, or die. That was basically it. So tons of people converted, but tons of people left. And now there was a huge wave that went to North Africa, but at that same time, there was a huge wave that went to Portugal. So they went to Portugal, which hadn't enacted an Inquisition. But then years later, Portugal enacts an Inquisition, a bit harsher. They don't really allow any Jews to leave. And so everyone's kind of forced conversions in Portugal. And so slowly over time, the Jews that were in Portugal start to leave, and that's the Western Sephardic diaspora. And the Western Sephardic diaspora, they end up going to areas throughout mostly Western Europe, as well as in the New World. So in Western Europe, the communities in Livorno, Amsterdam, Hamburg, Bayonne, Bordeaux, Antwerp, London, those were kind of the big communities. Then for the Western Sephardic communities in the New World, there was the Recife community in Brazil for a little bit, but that ended in 1654, which then led a bunch of those refugees to end up in New York. But there was also a community in Rhode Island. There were communities in Jamaica, Suriname, Curacao, and elsewhere within South America and Central America and the Caribbean. And so those are the 3 general waves that we talk about, but they all have an origin within Iberia. Now, what happens after 1492 with all of those communities, that's where things change a bit. But at the same time, there was a lot of flow between all of these different communities. So I have family that were part of the Sephardic community in Amsterdam that had come from Morocco. I also have a large part of my Livorno family that then went to Tunisia and were part of the Tunisian community for many years, multiple generations. And then you also have a lot of the Eastern Sephardic Jews going to the Western Sephardic world. And in Amsterdam, we have tons of records of the Jews from all over traveling everywhere. And throughout the years. And so we can see that how flowing everything is. Now, when it came to the Sephardic Jews and the different communities, they were somewhat endogamous against Ashkenazi Jews. And that's where we get to this statement where they say every Dutch Sephardic family tree I've seen has a ton of Ashkenazi ancestry. And what they're really talking about is not that, oh, well, if they're Dutch Sephardic, they're really Ashkenazi, because that's what it's alluding to, but that's wrong. What they're referring to, I don't know if what I just said is what they think, but what it's really referring to is that in the 1800s, it started to become commonplace and not quite a scandal for Sephardic Jews and Ashkenazi Jews in Amsterdam to marry. Before that, from the late 1500s, when the first Jews start to arrive in Amsterdam, all the way up until the beginning of the 1800s, it was a big scandal for any Sephardic Jew to marry Ashkenazi Jews. Doesn't mean it didn't happen, but it did. So while there are a lot of people who are Dutch Jews, such as myself, who descend from both the Dutch Ashkenazi community and the Dutch Sephardic community, most Dutch Sephardim, as soon as you find your Sephardic ancestors who were born in the 1800s, it's almost pure Sephardic ancestry back. Not always, but most of the time. So this statement here is really a statement from, I guess the best way would say ignorance, because they're saying from what they've seen, which tells me that they probably have not seen that many. And of those that they've seen, they may have misunderstood it in just looking at it and going, oh, well, there's this big Sephardic side and then there's this big Ashkenazi side. Must be a big mix. But when you look at the ancestry of it, the Ashkenazis in 1600s and 1700s and early 1800s, Amsterdam and throughout the Netherlands, they were not mixing. So, yeah. So I don't, I just had to, I guess, talk about that. I don't know who this is. And I think I was going to respond to it in the actual thing. And then it was like, I don't want to type all of this out. And yeah, so I don't know who this is. but their stuff doesn't really give it away. They're submitted and all of that. But yeah, I don't know. Oh gosh, they answer so many questions to people. See, and the funny thing is too, it's like they, just link a couple of things. It's okay. You can just link a couple of things. But that is kind of one of the issues with Reddit. I saw Maven's comment, Redditors, right, Charlie? Which, hey, Charlie, good to have you here. Good to have you here. But yeah, it's like, it's like all these people so confidently defining things and all of that. And then it's just like, but not backing it up with anything. So I don't know. Because the thing I was trying to think, it's like the way they're talking, it sounds like they've like done a lot of research in the community, but it kind of just, I don't know. It'd be really funny if this turned out to be someone that I follow or not follow that follows me or something. So, oh, yeah. I think that's one of the hardest things that I deal with when it comes to a lot of the DNA testing and genealogy and stuff is I always try to come from an area of like, okay, well, what proof do I have behind things, and what can we glean that actually makes sense and fits and all that, and then you go and you see comments by people that are just so confident in what they're saying, but then I don't know. I don't know where I'm getting with I don't know where I'm going with this. So hopefully everything I just talked about was useful to you all or interesting and didn't just sound like me rambling, complaining about some random Redditor that not even that I disagree with necessarily, just like that I feel like was like a little too overly confident in a statement that seemed to be slightly off. So I don't know. It just reminds me a lot of a lot of videos where I'm like, well, maybe it's this or maybe it's that, maybe it's this. Like, especially with admixtures, and then you get someone jumping in the comments, are like, oh no, that thing they got there, that's definitely from Vikings, or no, that definitely has to be from this, or that definitely has to be from that. It's like, stop being so definite and confident in everything you say. You can always have an idea that you might be wrong, So, and saying that same thing, I could be wrong and I could be misunderstanding what that Redditor commented. Granted, I don't know. It felt whatever. All right. Well, yeah. Who any questions? I know I've been going for an hour and a half. I kind of feel done with Reddit. And I know, on Friday, actually a good one. Any questions from Friday's stream? Because I know I had a very low amount of, or I had a lower amount of people on that stream, but I had a lot of people kind of afterwards going, "Oh my gosh, that was so cool and that was really helpful," and I definitely want to learn more. So back to Elias and Brendan's questions. Oh, did I miss some questions? Oh, I didn't see that. Elias Hicks. Are there any special resources for researching the Flemish in Belgium and in France? North. Okay. I honestly don't know. I've never researched Flemish in Belgium. And for northern France, I don't know if I've really done much research. Most of my French research, I feel like, has been like Alsace, Lorraine sort of areas, much more southwestern France, or wait, no, not southwestern France, southeastern, or southeastern France. I guess a little bit of southwestern because Bayonne and Bordeaux and all of that, but that's kind of very, very specific. Yeah. So, and then I see Maven says Family Search Wiki says Family Search Wiki say much on that region. Yeah, that's a big one to check, the Family Search Wiki. Let's see. Oh, I was like, wait, where'd my sharing window go? I forgot I closed it. Where did my sharing window go? Okay. Stop defaulting to that. I hate that. All right. So yeah, I mean, I guess Flemish. So I mean, it depends on what area I guess you're really looking at, Elias. But if you check here, Belgium genealogy, because I mean, isn't this is all, because I know this is Flemish prep, but isn't this all Flemish technically? Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Gina map Amsterdam 1688, but I think that you shared. Yeah, I actually haven't changed the map in the past few. The map behind me, I haven't changed that in the past few in the past few ones. It's been kind of yeah. So in France, my great grandfather's area, he was from a tiny village of Rochewug in Alsace-Lorraine. Yeah, Alsace moved between France and Germany many a times. Yep. Always find it interesting how Belgium can be right next to Luxembourg and Germany and Netherlands, but in terms of the US and genealogy, I have almost never found Belgians. Okay. Yeah, I think I've only met one or two people from Belgium in my life, that at least that I know of. I could have met more that I just didn't realize. But there are a lot of just general Belgium records available too. So yeah. Oh, why does it keep doing that? Oh, it's because it's dot is by. It was a high confidence community for my heritage. We found many ancestors from France and Belgium, but they all seem to be French speaking. Okay. Well, I mean, it certainly seems like you've got a lot of records available. And, I guess if what you need to do is, if it's through DNA testing on my heritage, take a look at your my heritage matches and try to find family that how you're related to them, and see if any of them are also getting these communities, to see if maybe you can pinpoint a specific line in your family of where these communities may be coming from. So if you have cousins from, one of each set of great grandparents who've tested, especially first or second cousins, or, third cousins, that exactly how they're related, see if there's a commonality of, one side where it seems everybody's getting that. Because, that's one thing. A lot of people get the DNA results and be like, okay, well, now I need to research in this region, but then they're just like searching their regular family names that they know, even if those family members weren't ever in that area. And it could have been maybe that family member's parents or grandparents, or, so, yeah, you just need to find a bit more. Let's see. I've researched a bunch of my friends' trees and so many branches from Alsace. I was shocked. Yeah, it seems like Alsace-Lorraine is an area where it's just like people are born there and then just leave and settle elsewhere, but somehow just more people keep being born there. I don't know. Because like a lot of Volga Germans, when I was doing that research on Mr. Beats family, it seemed like a lot of them trace back to like Alsace-Lorraine areas. Yeah, my ex is French Canadian in France. Many people thought he was Belgian. Interesting. Yeah. I have a second great grandmother from Alsace-Lorraine, so it said on her death certificate she had a German last name, Buchner. Alsace. Okay. Alsace. 100% sassy. Alsace. And Belgium is split between the Flemish part and the Walloon part. Probably why part is red and part yellow on the map. Just hoping and looking to jump over to Dutch ancestors. Yeah, that'd be great. Just gotta figure out where. So, yeah. Bottom line is everyone is picking your brain, but really hoping to connect to your line somewhere. Oh yeah, yeah. I guess everyone. I mean, everyone is a cousin. It's just a matter of how. So, yeah. All right. Oh, might end this soon. I'm getting a little beat. Walked my dogs before this, so luckily after the stream, I won't have to worry about walking them. I don't think. But I need to shoot some more reactions. I have them lined up. I meant to do it the other day, and it just didn't happen. Right? Blah 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 blah. And yeah, so that's unfortunate. No, Al is in the Paul Simon song. As you can call me Al. Oh, Alsace or Alsace. So it's not all sassy, it's Alsace. Alsace. Why does Ancestry keep telling me my mother's brother is a paternal DNA match? Where is it telling you it's a paternal DNA match? I guess it's under the matches. I so rarely ever use that thing. Actually, it's so funny. Let's see. Oh yeah, the by parent thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I honestly haven't liked the my parent thing. Like I said, I haven't really used it that much. And I think most of that's because every time I've used it, it's like I can quickly see, oh yeah, it's got cousins from different sides elsewhere. So, I haven't looked at any sort of white papers or explanations in depth about how they come up with this stuff for the paternal and maternal split on Ancestry. Basically, they're auto phasing sort of thing. But if it's based on trees or anything, it could be possible if someone has a incorrect tree, kind of like how through lines works, where someone has a wrong tree that in their DNA match to you, and it can make through lines look all wacky. And yeah, I don't know. Also have a third great grandfather from Antwerp. He moved to Texas and was murdered. I speculated it was an inside job so his only daughter and son-in-law could cash in. I'm awful. Oh, wow. Quite a family story. Yeah, my great uncle account also says my brother's incorrectly labeled as both sides, which I manually did, but it's true based on amount of DNA. Yeah, it says it means your brother. Of course, they're related on both sides. um, yeah. What's the most perplexing death you've seen on a death certificate? Oh, I'll have to think about this because there was a point a year or two ago that I was gonna try to work with a YouTuber who does a lot of like death stuff, like on the medical side and things. And we were talking about doing a collaboration where I was gonna find a whole bunch of interesting death certificates, and especially ones that had interesting deaths. And basically, I was going to talk about like that person's genealogy, their family history, and then show that, talk about the death certificate. And then he was going to talk about like, when they died at that time because of that, what they would have experienced in the hospital. So like, a death certificate from like the 1800s and, what would have been like for, that sort of thing. And gosh, I'm trying to think of what they were, because I keep coming back to stuff that like it's not that crazy, but it is crazy. Like, one was, brain hemorrhage due to hammer to head, things like that, or falling down an elevator shaft, or stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, though. That's a good question. The most, I guess, perplexing isn't necessarily interesting. It's most confusing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I'd be interested to hear what other people have to say. Yeah. Going back to my Dutch side, I discovered that my great grandma died on the same day as her own mom. That must have been so sad for the family. They both died separately. Oh wow, yeah. That's sad. Yeah, one of the things that I've found is if you often look at a family and you find immediate family members dying on the same day, it's usually going to be some sort of catastrophic event or something. Um, but not always, obviously, like that case, like your case. Matt Potter, I think all these algorithm-based features on genealogy sites are not to be 100% relied upon. Definitely. They can be useful, but don't take them as fact. I had to look up apoplexy, great-great-great-grandmother's death certificate, because my dad wasn't familiar with the term, an aneurysm. Yeah. Eric Sheridan, I have one from an ancestor who died from self-induced abortion. Wow. That's a great stats. Jeez. Ugh. All right. Stig, I have one ancestor whose death cause was that he walked into the woods and hanged himself. That's crazy that it's so specific instead of just, suicide or something like that. Walked into the woods. Although I guess maybe it was in the newspaper or something like that. Charlie, please join the Discord server if you haven't already. Definitely, if you're not familiar, I have a Discord server. A lot of active people in there helping each other solve genealogy, answer questions, and all that fun stuff. And then just a fun community. Lots of people chatting about other stuff too and sharing memes and all of that. Yeah. So, yeah, those are all sad. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of different ones. I also have one where baby died during birth. Next day, the mother died. The day after, the mother's mother died. 3 deaths in 3 days. Yeah, that's pretty awful. I saw 2 that died of gunshot wounds. I found newspaper articles that explain their wives shot them. Wow. My great grandmother, through my paternal grandma, my paternal grandpa's older brother, died the same year. She from thyrotoxicosis, thyrotoxicosis, and him from pneumonia. So I guess thyrotoxicosis, is that like your thyroid becomes toxic or something? Rob, how far did you get back so far? Sarah Eva. How okay, for some reason I thought you were asking me how far I got back for her. I was like, oh no, we only did a bit. We got her connected in Genie. Now it's up to her. Yeah. All right. Canadian Spring. My granduncle died and his sister came for the funeral, went to visit my grandma after the funeral, and had a heart attack in the doorway. Wow. Okay, so thyrotoxicosis is hyperthyroidism. So yeah, I'm not just doing that to itch my neck. I'm the thyroid. So, all right. All right. Well, not quite an hour. Give a little stretch and a bend. Dip my toe to jacuzzi, baby. Don't know if anyone knows Tenacious D. All right. So yeah, coming to focus. There we go. So thank you everybody for coming to another Professional Genealogist Reacts live stream. Had a lot of fun on this one. Kind of a little bit looser than usual. But good crowd. Always good to see a lot of these folks, a lot of you folks here who I see all the time. Little jealous of Diane Southard's huge numbers on her stream. Jeez. Maybe I need to get some other genealogists, interview them. Actually, that'd be interesting. Would you all want to see me interview? Let me know. But one thing I didn't announce that I meant to talk about is this week is going to be my last week of doing 2 streams a week. So, every week for a while, I've been doing one on the main channel, one on this channel, the reaction channel. In recent weeks, I've kind of realized that doing the 2 a week doesn't equate the amount of time and everything and all of that. So, and it especially has made it feel like, it's like really, really constant, which I don't know, maybe that's a good thing or not. So the plan from here on out, after this week, I will be doing a Friday stream. So this week will be 2, but after this week, it'll be every other week on each channel. So, next week it'll be on maybe the reaction channel. Then the week after that, it'll be a main channel reaction and so on. So these Reddit answer question things are now going to be every other week. So it won't be every week. But just kind of trying to make sure I, manage my time properly, and the amount of time spent doing 2 streams a week versus 1 didn't seem to add up to make sense. So either way, just wanted to announce that, but thank you all so much for sticking around. You have a wonderful rest of your day or beginning of your day for all of those in Europe. I know a lot of the Europeans aren't really here because it's too late for you, but hey, it's just around midnight or 1 a.m. for some of you. So hopefully you're here, and hopefully this was a lot of help for everyone that was in the chat. Everything I answered today, the people were in the chat, even the ones from Reddit, because Callum and Gina were the ones that we answered from Reddit. So that's awesome. Thank you all very much. I'm kind of just seeing everything. Yeah, so awesome. Well, enough goodbyes. I'll see you all on Friday. Goodbye. After I say enough goodbyes. All right, goodbye.